Oh yeah, I mean, to be honest, the whole way down it's pretty tricky, but I think you've got a couple of spins there. You've got gate 8 spin, 8 to 9, and then after that you'll have gate 14 spin, 15, 16 into 17, tricky moves.
Yeah, I think the staggers have actually been the hardest part, and the course is actually quite short compared to what we're used to racing. It's under, the fastest time in the semi-final was under 90 seconds, so hopefully the girls can improve on that, and we'll see some fast times.
Exactly. Fastest of the semi-final was Kateřina Kudějová. She went clear in 89.85. As you see, there's 10 entries. A lot of the top competitors in the world, you can see there in your picture. There's Schoenberg, who's unlucky for a minute. She was 10th, and then she came 11th. You can see a lot of people are staying around to watch it, but first on the blocks is for Spain. It's Marta Martinez, 25 years old. This year she's had a storming start. She had a world ranking in Asoi a couple of months ago, and she won that, so let's see how she goes today.
Marta's one of the smoothest paddlers. She trains in Seo in Spain, which is where Maialen Chourraut also trains, and they both have exactly the same boat, and they use fins, so you can see in some of the ups it glides and turns quite fast, and she can track the boat well. But yeah, she's on to gate 5, which is going pretty well.
She's been pretty neat so far, really light paddler, so she'll be whipping the boat around and getting some good acceleration. Pretty similar to Maialen as well. As you see her go through gate 7 there, quite neat and tidy, and really good there on the spin, 8 and 9. You just want to get away from that spin as quickly as possible, and she's been good so far through the stagger here.
She's been really precise in keeping the speed on the boat through the stagger there, and coming into up, left, and into the spin move, which is one of the trickiest parts.
She's chosen to go a little bit deep into that 14 spin. The fastest way to do it would be to stay around the inside pole a little bit, but I guess safer, go a little bit deeper and make sure of it, and she's had to go back round.
She's lost her balance there. She had a bit too much edge down in gate 15, and she's had to go back for that gate.
That's going to be very expensive. As we see on the screen, new graphics this year, so you can see on gate number 14 she had a 2-second penalty showed in yellow, but she's certainly struggling.
She'll keep this going now and just give herself a bit of this last little stagger, which can catch you out. And I think it's caught her out on gate 20 there. It was
unfortunately
she's
Looks like she
missed
might have a large penalty.
Yeah, there we go, confirmation. 50 on gate 20. She'll be pretty happy with making the final, but probably disappointed with her result there in the end, just slipping on gate 20. But I think she can take quite a lot away from that.
For the Spanish girls, it's their first World Cup of the season, so they'll be racing next weekend as well, and then obviously at the World Cup 4 and 5, so she'll have plenty to build on from this experience.
And coming up next is Eva Tercelj, the first of 2 Slovenians coming up today, so we can see how the women do, because the men have not lived up that potential in the Slovenian team.
No, that's right. Unfortunately, in the kayak men, you've got Peter Kauser, who obviously was, for many years, he was top guy, and he's struggled probably a little bit in the last couple of years to assert himself. But the girls here today, they'll be happy with that too in the final. And first up, Eva here, pushing through gate 2 into gate 3 here.
Eva's one of the strongest under 23 competitors, and she's been on the World Tour for a while, and I think she has quite a lot of experience. She's made a few finals, so let's see how she goes today. So far, so good.
She's also had a victory, hasn't she, in Lasseille?
Yeah.
There we go, nice and tight around there. She wants to push out into the flow here and then whip it straight back into gate 7.
1.5 really down well on the split though.
You don't need to worry too much about the first split, I don't think, because now we're going to the tricky section, 8, 9.
She's just got to make sure to keep the boat running here and stay off the poles and set up well for each stagger, which she's done quite well.
There we go, here we go into the second spin here. Keep it tight. Oh, she's chosen again to go quite deep, just settle herself a little bit. She needs to make sure she gets across to 15. And it's a couple of tight little gates here back into upstream 17. There you go, see, she'll have to spin again. That was probably unplanned, that was. Now try and get as tight as possible back into 17 and keep it running.
A little bit low in that up, but she's going to fight to get back out and into the flow to the last upstream gate, which goes for the sweep up option.
Gives herself the room on 19. And there we go, makes it nice and easy through 20, 21, all the way through to the finish now.
Well, it's going to give them something to think about. As we said a couple of minutes ago, it's not going to be the fastest time, but she is clean.
Eva goes into the lead and sets a good, well, she'll be a bit disappointed with that spin move that was unplanned, but we'll see what the other girls can do. So far there's been a couple of mistakes.
Well, she's 6 seconds slower than the top semi-final time, so I don't know if that's a point of reference, but something to go for. So next up is from Spain. She's 32 now, has an Olympic medal just behind you, Jessica. And it's Maialen Chourraut, who has a baby. I don't know if she does well today. I mean, hats off her. They're staying in the same hotel to us, and I didn't get much sleep because there's a wedding going on. There's 100 people just below us, and the wedding, the music stopped at 5 this morning.
Maialen might be a bit used to that. She has a 2-year-old daughter, so maybe she's had to deal with a few sleepless nights, but she's definitely in good form. She won the qualifications, and you know, into the final, it's always, you've got to be in it to win it. So
I think it's worth mentioning she was actually incredibly good in the qualification. She won by 3 seconds, and she was pushing the kite men, to be honest. And let's see what she can do here in the final.
Clearly, a couple of months ago,
really
nice.
good gate 4. The exit, she got a little bit stuck, but she definitely whipped it in that upstream. And coming into gate 5, she keeps the bow nice and light, and she's done that really well. Positioning is
nearly 3 seconds up on Eva there through gate 6, so she's doing very well, and you'd expect her to be pushing for a sub 90, to be honest. So that's a good start to the run.
She's looking very smooth and controlled, staying off the poles, but still having really tight lines.
Tight lines.
Yeah, very tight.
It'd be interesting to see what the judges think there. That was very tight.
Yeah, she's lost a little bit of time in that.
She's still
spin move,
almost 5 seconds up there.
She's made up a lot of time on
A
Eva.
little bit low into the up left there, but she's keeping the boat running, and she'll be pushing out to the last upstream now. And she'll probably, I think you'll find she'll probably give us a little bit of room on this exit here, just to make sure, there we go, out on the top of the eddy.
These last 2 gates have been pretty tricky, and they're kind of a bit deceiving. The water changes a lot there, but she's managed that really nicely, and now she's just got the sprint to the finish.
Oh,
And a 90.91,
That's
6 seconds up on Eva, but that's a solid time.
That'll give the
that's
other
a
girls
good
something to
start.
think about.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's a medal, to be honest. I think, like you say, you just had Kateřina Kudějová that went sub 90. I think there was a lot of time in that still as well, so I think on a very good run, I wouldn't be surprised with an 88 or an 87, but
that's definitely an improvement on her semi-final run, where she did a 92.87 with a touch. So she looked a little bit disappointed crossing the line, but I thought that was a really smooth and controlled run.
Well, we saw 6 of the top 10 go clear in the semi-finals. Top 3 were clear also. So if you just tuned in, hello, we're coming to you live from course side in Krakow, just 10 minutes outside of the centre. Richard Hounslow from the K1 and also C2, and Jess Fox, who, lucky for us but unlucky for her, is with us today.
Next up we have Marie-Zélia Lafont from France, who is new to the team this year. She made it in 2013 but missed out last year.
Didn't she clean up in the French trials? She did
she was
extremely
very
well.
good.
She was very good at French selection.
That was a very good French accent, by the way.
Well, I do speak a little French. So she's done a really nice gate 4, a little bit stuck on the exit, but she's a pretty strong competitor, and is known to pull out some good runs in finals, so we'll see what she can do today.
And there we go, she's already 1.78 down on Maialen's run, but like we said before, the top section, you know, it's not won and lost on the top. This next section here, you've got 5 gate stagger here, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
She can just keep her bow nice and light and control the staggers and into the up. I think this is a pretty good start.
And again here we'll be pushing through to 14, the spin, see if she can hold it tight. That was really good. Ooh.
That was a much faster spin than Maialen and the other girls. She was much tighter though, so.
But still 3.48 down. She's slipping away from Maialen a little bit, so she'll want to try and keep it running here and see if she can pull a bit of time back on the last couple of gates.
But Maialen has an asterisk by her name, which means someone's appealing against something, because she only had 0 faults.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was gate 13, actually. She was very, very tight into gate 13 and possible half head on the way in. And here we go as Marie comes to the finish line here. And
well, puts her in provisional second place. And so we do have an asterisk against Maialen Chourraut. So Marie-Zélia
So we'll
Lafont,
keep an
we'll
eye on
see
that.
how it goes forward. Other Frenchies, if you're saying, why is there only one Frenchie in the final? Emily Fair, she took plenty of 50s in the semi-finals, so knocked herself out. Newman clearly didn't make the French team because she'd had an operation on her shoulder, so that's probably too much to come back. And
Yeah, she's actually gone to, she raced in Prague last week, and now she's headed to Canada for a bit of, I think, coaching, training, creek boating.
there's a lot of air miles to Zara. Next to go is Jana Dukatova, who has a newish boat. I know she tried out a new boat in January, didn't like it, so tried another one. She's and another Red Bull.
Jana, very, very smooth paddler. Quite often doesn't look like she's pushing that hard, but she's technically a solid athlete, and we'll see what she can put down.
One-time world #1.
I think this course will suit Jana. It's very technical, and she's really controlled and skilled in those sort of moves and the spins. So she raced well in the heats. She had to make it in the second run, but she did, and she made the semi, and now into the final. So
that exit on gate 4, very, very tricky. Out onto the back of the stopper, it can hold you quite a bit, but she's pushing now through 5 and 6, and just needs to whip it, get back in to 7. Again, 3.53 down, so Maialen was obviously very quick on the top section.
Jana's looking a little hesitant as she ran into that wave, but that spin was really good, very controlled. And now she's just got these staggers.
Well, we've got a fair few people following her down. Maybe make a bit more noise soon.
Yeah, we can keep it nice and neat and tidy. She'll want to try and stay on the inside pole of the spin on gate 14, but no, a little bit too
slid out
deep.
and hit that outside pole, which will cost her 2 seconds. But
And there we go, that's showing in the split there, 6.74 down on Maialen. So she'll want to keep this running in, and pretty tight there into 17, had to come in from a little bit wide, but nice and neat, and then the exit into the last upstream, gate 18.
just got to keep the boat running the last section and try for a strong finish if she wants to get onto that podium spot, I
Podium
think.
so far, it's 97.1 for the third place.
There we go.
And unfortunately, it's just out of the podium spots.
Well, came 8th last week in Prague, missed the final in Deep Creek, so it's a few more little adjustments perhaps need to be made.
Yeah, those last few gates are pretty tricky. I came unstuck a little bit yesterday in kayak, and they were the same for the heats as well. And in C2 we really struggled with it. But 19, 20, it's not a given. So you need to make sure on the exit of 18, and it can be won and lost there. But at the moment we're seeing that Maialen is still, she's got a solid lead there of 3.22 seconds. And next up we've got Corinna Kuhnle.
Twice world champion. The Austrians are telling me that she's made it into London. There's 4 girls going head-to-head in the Austrian trials. Elisa Leitner so far had a 5th. Corinna, by definition, has at least a 10th. And Violetta Peters has a 15th. And Ruffhardt has a 16th so far. So it's the top best performance of the 3 girls that makes it into London.
Very, very strong paddler. She's probably one of the fastest girls out there in terms of sort of raw speed on the flat and power, but you've got to put it down, and you've got to get around those gates nice and neat and tidy.
Coming into gate 5, seems to be a little bit down on Maialen's time, but she's keeping the boat running, and I think she's got good speed out of gate 7 leading into the spin.
By the way, the asterisk has come off Maialen's name, so she has officially 90.91 as the time to beat.
Yeah, like I said, you don't need to worry too much about that top section. Obviously, just over 1 second. It's not ideal for Corinne, but she's doing well here. She's keeping off the poles.
Had to duck that pole, but she's chasing it hard, and I think if she can get through these staggers, she's opted for the spin, and she was a little bit late, but didn't lose too much time there. And she's actually arrived really high into gate 17, so she's
now coming to the last upstream, gate 18, and keeping it. Pretty solid effort, and now she'll be making sure on the last few gates here and then pushing it onto the finish. And she's going to try and challenge that 90.91.
Well, she's not going to take the first place, is she?
Ooh, just
there we go. I think it showed there. It's very changeable water to finish there, and she just got a little bit caught out and probably lost half a second on the way to the finish, but it probably wouldn't have been enough to take
the lead.
Mailen's
No, 92.89 for Corinna, but that's a commendable effort and good job. I think there's 5 more girls to go.
4 more girls to go.
4 more girls to go.
And Ricarda Funk is up next, and she has been very, very good this year. She's a very aggressive paddler, really lightweight, keeps the boat light and attacks the course all the way down.
And
Just
definitely
missed the medals last weekend.
Yeah, she's one of the most consistent paddlers. She's often in the finals, and she often delivers in the finals. So looking forward to seeing what she can pull out today.
I guess you wouldn't have been there at the Euros, but she was exceptional. You know, she didn't win in the end. I think she had a touch in the finals, but she was fast all the way through the weekend, and I'm sure she'll be fast again here today.
And the only German to make the final.
Yes, I think they've had certainly the kite men, they've had a bit of a tough time of it lately. Shuby made it into the final yesterday. He was a little bit disappointed with his final run, but let's see what Ricarda can do here now.
Ricarda has a little bit of trouble in gate 4, and she's getting a little bit stuck on that exit, but she has really good grip and a lot of power in each stroke to really move the boat. And I think she's had a really good gate 5, gate 6 there. You can see the bounce on the boat.
But once again, we're seeing that Mailen's first section was very good. She was Ricarda was 2.22 down Mailen's split, but she's done it very well through the spin gate 8 and then pushing them through to 9-10. Oh,
just had a touch there on gate, was it 11? Gate 10.
That was probably a little bit of a. She'll be disappointed with that because she wasn't too tight on it. Just a bit of a clumsy touch, I think, with her paddle shaft. But she's whipping it through gate 14, 15, and now going to try and get back tight into the upstream 17.
As you can see, she's 4 seconds down, so needs to do something quite special.
She needs to have a really strong and fast finish to try and get onto that podium, and she's definitely got the fitness for it. Let's see if she can just negotiate these last 2 gates cleanly and precisely. And
I think what we're seeing here is that Kudějova's semi-final was very, very good, sub 90, and you know.
Well,
it's going to take that for the win.
Moves into 3rd place with 3 athletes to go. We do often see someone who has local knowledge bats above their level almost, and it's going to be interesting to see if Natalia Pink does that today, because if you look at her results, they haven't been outstanding, but she's local knowledge as well.
Yeah, she trains here, and she's, well, I expect her to be really, really strong on her course, pretty confident, home support. I think you know she's one of the strongest paddlers, and I remember her at the Olympics. She won the semi-final and had I think she had the fastest time of the race. So see what she can do today.
I mean, I think we all know that our sport in general is very site specific, and
Definitely.
if you're training day in day out on that course, then it's not going to be a given that you're going to get a good result, but it's certainly going to raise your chances.
Unless your name is Fox, and it normally goes against it.
Not today.
Well, here she goes at the local university studying physical education. Let's see how she goes.
There you go, nice and tight into 3. Now she wants to just keep pushing out and get as tight in around gate 4 as possible, and then just try and sneak out in the back of the stopper and work hard away from it.
A little bit low into gate 4, and definitely not as fast as Maialen, but we'll see if she can make up a bit of time in this stagger coming up.
I think this is going to show on the split there. A little bit too tight to the blocks, and there we go. You need to give yourself a little bit of room coming into gate 5 there, and she got caught out on that gate 5 and took a touch there.
So she's 6 seconds off the pace.
That's right. And again, it's showing just how good Maialen was on the top section.
She's running these staggers nicely, and coming into gate 13, she's really got to control these last few gates and stay off the poles.
There you go. She'll want to try to keep it nice on the inside pole on gate 14 if she wants to be fast there, and that was good. That was really fast there. But then this 15-16 is pretty tight,
She's
and then
a little bit late, but
she's
taken another touch. gate 16.
And then
A little stuck on 17. She'll be losing a bit of time there.
that's
Lost
right.
a lot
I think
of
she
run
was
on
just
the boat.
a little bit too broadside coming to gate 17 and got pulled into it a bit too tight, but it's keeping it all very high out of 18 just to make sure on the last few gates here.
Well, that's going to be a disappointment at this level cup, not even going to be in a medal position.
No, but I think it's a commendable effort here. And she's probably pretty happy to make it into the final, but again, like we said, she's showing they're a bit disappointed with that final result.
The touches are definitely costly.
Well, we have our first medalist anyway. It's a case of
Smiles from the girls.
Maialen Chourraut has a medal. 2 athletes to go. We've had 8 so far. Ursa Kragelj from Slovenia, sorry. Yes. My brain was on overdrive trying to work out that. She's done well. In a couple of years ago, she won the overall title in the World Cups.
And I think here what we can say is her semi-final run, if she can repeat that, that would be enough right now to take the lead. But I think it's showing just how tricky the course is, and so far we haven't gone faster than the semi-final.
Came 9th last weekend. Disappointed herself in Deep Creek when she only came 28th. Last year in the World Cup, she made 2 finals.
Last weekend, actually, in Prague, she made the final with 2 touches. She was very, very fast in the bottom.
She lost her balance a little bit in gate 3, but not too much time. We'll see how she can negotiate gate 4, and she stays very close to the inside pole and has a tight exit there, which is good to keep the speed on the boat.
I think she's coached by Eva Tercelj, who was, I'm not sure whether he was a silver or bronze medalist at the Borg World Championships way back in, was it 2002?
3?
Yeah. 2002. That's right.
Oh, just had to...
Oh, slipped a bit too far in there, and a little bit tight on the exit of the spin there. That'd be interesting. There we go, just a touch.
She's paddling through these staggers quite well and keeping the speed on, but that touch is going to be costly.
Bit of a smile there from Connie, because she might be thinking that she's safe for the medal.
Had to duck a little bit and ended up really deep in that eddy.
Yeah, that's the problem. If you don't get tight around that spin gate 14, you get sucked into the eddy there, and it makes there we go.
Fortunately,
she's not happy there. She's missed the gate 15, I think it was there, and then has decided that's enough for her today.
Well, 9 of the 10 athletes gone. Maialen Chourraut has at least a silver, and Corinna Kuhnle has at least a bronze. But we have one top athlete to go, and that's Kateřina Kudějová from the Czech Republic.
I think maybe Ursa there was just thinking that there was only 150 in before her, and she's maybe heading off to Liptovsky after this and wants to save herself for next weekend and see what she can do.
We'll have to see.
raining a little bit outside, but the crowd is out here and there's a lot of people who've come to watch and support, and we've got one more girl to go, Kateřina Kudějová from Czech Republic.
Before we see you on the screen, Jess, what are your plans? Are you heading on?
Yeah, I'm heading off to Liptovsky this evening and we'll get on that course tomorrow and prepare for World Cup number 3 and hopefully get my revenge from today.
Is that how you see it?
No, I'm just looking to paddle better, to be fresher and to...
Bit of an international road trip. All the teams will be heading over to Liptovsky and over the mountains. Let's see what.
Here we go. Last competitor.
I think Kateřina will be pretty confident on the start line there, knowing that nobody's gone faster than her semi-final run, and she'll be looking to just consolidate that now. And she's pretty solid there. Good start, I think.
Medal last weekend, came to third.
Third place last week, and she's definitely been in a few finals. She's got a lot of experience in.
That's a really nice start as well. Really good round gate 4 and a good exit, and she's going to try and keep this tight around 5 and 6, and then push it back into the upstream gate 7, and then we'll see. It shows
she's
there.
Not charging as much as Chourraut was. Chourraut had definitely a bit more pace to her. She's just missed the spin for gate 8, but she's gone for the bogey option and
bit
taken
of a clumsy
touch
on gate 8 there, because actually I don't think it lost her too much time, but then taking that touch, I think that's going to mean she's going to struggle to get back on the podium, and I think that unless she can go faster than
not
her
over till it's over, Richard.
No, absolutely not. No, I agree, but she's certainly put herself on the back foot there, and she's going to have to push it hard there through the last few gates.
She's done those staggers really well, and come into gate 17.
I missed the split there. What was she?
I didn't.
She's a little bit down on
She was 6
Maialen
seconds
still.
down on the split. She has 3 seconds to play with for the bronze medal, so it's going to be difficult.
It's about 12 or 13 seconds out the last upstream there.
Just taken.
Oh, there we go.
Touch and a 50-second penalty
That's
on that
game
last.
over.
I can relate to her on that gate 20 there. It's it can catch her out quite easily, and again, she'll be disappointed there.
She'll be disappointed with that. That was
there we
definitely an
go.
interesting final, but Maialen really pulled it out, and that's her second win for the season. She's European champion just last month, and she's definitely shown that she's in fine form.
And proves that she doesn't need sleep.
Corinna Kuhnle there taking the second place, and
Ricarda Funk made it onto the podium this time after last week. But again, she's got a touch, but good enough for the bronze, and I'm sure she'll be happy with that.
Jess, we have to let you go in a minute or so, but your impressions of sitting in the commentary box, not as much fun as being out there, I guess.
Oh, it's definitely not as much fun as being out there, but it's been really enjoyable to watch it, because I've enjoyed racing, and I can learn a lot from watching the girls, and it was an interesting final, and a lot happened.
Thank you so much for coming. Let me just see if we've got
Thanks
the
for
results
having me.
coming in. I'm going to just cut off your sound, going from one multiple world champion to another multiple world champion. David Florence is just stepping in to take your place. Thanks so much, Jess, for coming in, and good luck in the road trip and next results. So we're going to hopefully have the results. Here you go. The confirmation of the results. Maialen Chourraut takes gold for Spain. Corinna Kuhnle takes silver for Austria. And Ricarda Funk takes bronze for Germany. David Florence, you've been on bankside. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Enjoyed watching that final. It's a pretty tricky course out there, I have to say. I think it's going to be pretty tricky for the C2s.
Yes. I think the semi-finals we showed, we have, it looks like the moves for the C2 guys is a spin on gate 8, and then again spin on 14, but the tricky section for the C2s is probably that 14, 15, 16. You had some guys doing the back off from 15 to 16, and some of them actually doing a double spin 14, 15.
If you're not completely familiar with the sport, we do have a partnership in here today, so we're going to see who's the dominant one off the water. It's David Florence, who sits in the front, and Richard Hounslow sits in the back of the C2, clearly. So world champions, Olympic medalists. It's going to be interesting to see how we negotiate our way through the next half an hour or so.
Yeah, absolutely. I get to lead in the boat, but we'll see what happens in the commentary box.
So just a moment about your weekend so far on the water.
Yeah, I mean, obviously very pleased to get on the podium in C1. Hats off to Matti Benish, who really stole the show with that gold one. Absolutely fantastic run there. Took a huge amount of time out of everyone else, myself included. C2, yeah, very disappointing not to be out there today, not even to be racing the semi, but we weren't good enough this weekend, and that's the way it goes.
And on for next weekend, if you look at the names, there's a few big names who actually missed out. There's some newcomers that we can need to watch and see who masters this course. So the crux of this course is sort of cut your risks, or to have you fast, or...
To be perfectly honest with you, it's very tight, and for C2s, they're going to have to, make sure they consolidate those tricky staggers there. Like I said earlier on, 8, 9, 10, and then into 14, 15, 16, into the upstream 17. But like you said, we've got some big names missing out. Last weekend, Klaus Pesch took the win, and they've missed out, and possibly could mean that Matthew has to shave his beard off. Bit of a bet there, but we'll see if he stands up to that.
What was the bet?
He had to make the final.
Yeah, Matthew Pesch was some bold words that if they didn't make the final, he would shave his beard off. So we'll see what happens there. I think Richard also might have his own end of the bargain to live up to, but I'll let Richard decide whether he's going to share that.
We'll see what happens in Liptovsky, but let's see what these C2 guys can do. But I think it's worth mentioning there. Obviously, David and I, we had a disappointing weekend, missed out on the semi-final, but Ryan Wesley and Zach Franklin, they've stepped in, and they've made the final for the Brits. So that's good to see. And interestingly, the Czechs there, first, second, and third in the semi-final. Little Polish guys, Brzezinski slipping into fourth, and then we got 3 Germans in a row.